And we're live. Hello to all you BC Wrestling Pod nerds out there. And welcome to another rendition of the All Elite Ensemble Review, your weekly AEW review show here on the BC Wrestle Pod Network, Conglomeration Syndicate, YouTube, Twitch, podcasting thing that we do every single day of the week, except for Thursdays. I am your host, Mikey, and joining me this evening is my lovely co-host, Mr. JBL, who... You know what? I'm just Katsuyori Shibata is back for a second time around. Love to see it.
It's better this.
It really is. Unfortunately, we are missing our third host this evening, the good old professor who brain is a little bit of mush right now, but that is okay. You know, college professor.
I hate to contradict you. No, I don't. I usually do this anyways. I figured it out. I truly have figured it out. The professor and I cannot be in the same room at the same time for some reason. I think that I might be the professor in my superhero life. And I apologize for not saying this sooner and not bringing it up.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's just I can't be there when he's there. It's just what it is.
Well, I mean, we tried.
We did, but you know what? The ride's over. So sorry, folks. We've been deceiving you here at the BC Wrestle Pod. The professor is actually me in my other form. He's basically my in the Severance parlance. I'm the Audi, which is the problem. So
I don't even know where to go with that one. Anywho,
I have an Audi that says audit, Peter. The T is not silent.
Oh my goodness, I am so happy. I look forward to this every single week. So
well, we had some. It's gotten so good to watch AEW lately. Please, for the love of God, give me Thunder Tits every week. Like, can we? I know we get demonetized for saying it, but Tony Storm, you are my spirit animal. I love you dearly.
Tony Storm, I feel like, is all of our spirit animals here at BC Wrestle Pod. She's just so darn good. And we'll talk about her in a little bit because now that I've had time to digest it, I was surprised, but then I wasn't. But I was also very surprised when we get to our main event of Dynamite this week. I'm like, yo, this is actually kind of great. But we'll talk about it when we get to it. But before we get into all the AEW Dynamite goodness from this past week, if you like what you see, or even if you don't, you can still look us up on social medias to find even more chaotic craziness that we got going on. Do you like report cards for your weekly shows and pay-per-views? We definitely have them, and we definitely make them. Do you want to totally
tell that we have teachers involved in most of our stuff here that make report cards for everything? That's a thing.
I don't like grading things, but it's been a lot of fun making the report cards because they look so perfect.
I love to show them to my daughter as well, who loves to look at them and like loves your design work on them. She still doesn't watch a lot of wrestling with me, but she gets that it's worthwhile to have that there.
They are very colorful. It is so much fun. I love it. It is fantastic. But you could also catch out of context clips that totally will not come and bite us in the butt when we apply for other things or, you know, when we accept awards, because a good sign of being an internet force is for the internet to try to cancel you ever so often.
Love to be canceled, especially in this day and age with what's going on in the world.
Seriously. And of course, we also have merchandise, link in the description below and in the bios of all of our social medias. Where, you know what, if AEW is not going to capitalize on it, we might create our own Thunder Tits shirt.
It could be most of the guys' faces on here that are a little bit overweight. I'm just saying.
You're not wrong. But you can follow us and find all that out on the Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok, the Threads, the Blue Sky. We have a Patreon. We have a lot of stuff. But now that we're done getting all that out of the way, let's get into it because we're going to start off. Boom goes the Dynamite. And that is exactly what we're starting with is AEW Dynamite that took place on Wednesday, March 26th. And we are going to kick things off with admittedly a very short match, but still fun nonetheless. Blake Christian probably had other places to be. Man is working everywhere, and doing everything and throwing everything but the kitchen sink and the fridge at this point.
He's working heel here. He's working babyface in other places. He's really running the spectrum of how a wrestler can be in most places.
Oh, absolutely. And we get a non-title match between Blake Christian and one Kenneth Omega. This was a fun one. This only went about 5 minutes, but you know what?
It was like I said, it's the tune-up matches for Kenny Omega. He's getting in what he needs against actually pretty dang good jobber talent that are coming in. I don't like this Blake Christian team up with our lovely Lee Johnson over there, but then again, I never liked Lee Johnson to begin with, and so it's very funny that Blake Christian's going by something vanilla. I forget what the first part was saying, something vanilla, and I'm like, no, that's Lee Johnson, right? No? Am I wrong?
Oh, so, okay. I know continuity doesn't exist between ROH and AEW, like continuity gets thrown out the window. But I'm like, Blake Christian and Lee Johnson is a new Earth pairing, at least for those of us, or for those people I'm like, why is Lee Johnson with Blake? Because normally in Ring of Honor, Lee is with EJ and Duca of all. I was like, what is happening?
Right? It makes no sense.
But then again, we have come to the understanding that ROH doesn't make a lot of sense because Tony Khan's not putting in time and the effort. Am I still going to watch their pay-per-view on Friday? Absolutely. May 2nd,
Well,
but
good luck to you. I can't give my stuff that anymore, especially because we're getting all of the rest of the good ROH talent coming up onto AEW roster right now. So, I mean, I don't know.
yeah, there's certain talent that ROH and / AEW has fumbled because now they're about to kill it on the independent scene, and I'm about to watch somebody at Bloodsport in a couple of weeks, so that's going to be fun.
Amazing.
But as you said, JVL, this was more of a tune-up match for Kenny Omega to get him prepared for what's to come at Dynasty, which we get this in 2 spurts. First, this is the most Canadian promo I have ever seen in my life.
On Speedball Mike Bailey's face the entire time.
Love it. Speedball is like, Kenny's like, Speedball, you are inspiration. Kenny, thank you.
Yeah, sorry there. Not much I can do for you there, but I understand what you're trying to do there, bud.
This is the phase for Speedball where he's just like, you know what? I'm happy to be here and I get to be around amazing people. And honestly, same. This was the most polite promo from both of these two. And then, of course, we had to add the vinegar of it all into it, where Trevor, who do be looking like a vampire in this picture here.
Well, get married, apparently, Deal.
The reason he's not a Dynamite is because he's getting hitched to Samantha Irving. By the way, shout out to the beautiful couple on their wedding. Happy y'all found love in this business and you got married. I love it. And I'm just like, he's cutting to Samantha Irving, you're a better woman than I be, because if it were my wedding day, I would be like, no, you will not be cutting promos on my wedding day.
She falls into that, like, she's got that same thing about her, like Renee Paquette does, where she understands the business, she understands her husband's, like, this is his life, and as long as he's not doing it in front of the guests or, like, on the dance floor or ruining the actual day, like, he probably did this while she was still getting ready and pictures getting together, like, because he threw it together while he's dressed, is basically what it is. So they pre-planned this, they did.
So Trevor the Vampire here lets us know that he's getting married today. That is why he's not at Dynamite. But come April 6th, his wedding is not the only thing he will celebrate, as he will take that international championship and leave both Canadians crying about it.
I love that, like, in the back of my head, I'm going, Trev is definitely hoping, or is kicking himself, that he didn't get into this, like, double entendre stuff that Tony Storm did, because this is the perfect place he could have thrown some stuff in, being at his wedding, being there and talking about the wedding night. And, like, I mean, he's not Von Wagner, so he can't be like, come Tuesday, but he can say other things like that where he's like, something's happening.
Speaking of Von Wagner, that was wild to see. And then apparently he's already doing some ROH tapings. I'm like, wow. That's great. I mean, that's very fair. But of course, as Trevor does best or worse, whatever you want to, he signs off with that, leaving our 2 Canadians in the ring.
He is finally finding his footing in this whiny heel role, and yet can still do all of his amazing athletic stuff with it. I think there was no way he was going to pull that off in the other company, but he seems to have found a way here.
I'm really enjoying Ricochet as this whiny little heel. Trevor the Vampire. I'm loving it, and I'm excited. I'm still excited for this match that's happening this upcoming day at Dynasty. That's gonna be wild.
Yes, it is.
So we leave our Canadians and Trevor the Vampire to, unfortunately, talk about these guys.
I mean, okay, let's pull back a bit. I have to unpack this a bit. I hate everything that's going on with this in general. Like, it's a downer for anything to do with Chris Jericho and having anything to do on anything at all with TV. Now, did I watch the video clip of that 7-year-old owning his ass multiple times as Chris Jericho is corpsing? Yes. Is that how I want to experience the Jericho now? Yes. Getting his from everybody else around him. On the other side of this, finally getting Big Bill and to do something, to have a reason to be on TV. I mean, yes, it's ostensibly to make him proud, but honestly, it's more of just like, let's take the focus off Jericho finally and let you 2 run the show so that we can get this jerkwad back to ROH to lose his belt. So we can get him off TV, because he's not helping ROH's cause by holding this belt up here and not being on ROH TV anyways. So I don't know. I like that they're doing something with these guys, but I don't like the fact that it had to be at the expense of everything else.
That is very true. So in this part of the video, Big Bill, Large William, and the bounty hunter Brian Keith are going to, get a win to make themselves worthy of the learning tree. They leave. And the last part of this promo is Chris Jericho challenging Bandito in a title versus mask match at Dynasty for the ROH World Championship. And I'm just sitting there to myself, you literally have an ROH pay-per-view coming up in a couple weeks. We could have saved it, but hey, you know what? I stopped questioning why we're booking ROH stuff on AEW a long time ago. So in my head, I'm like, in the world of reality, there is no way that Bandito loses his mask.
Yeah, it's not worth.
But
Jericho has not earned the right to take that mask.
No. So one of two things are going to happen. Either Bandito wins or we get a disqualification. That is how it's going to go.
Right.
So
I'm going DQ at this point. I think DQ is where it's got to be.
It has to be. We get a rematch at the pay-per-view and Bandito actually wins. Hopefully. We'll see. Moving on.
Moving right along, getting there quick.
So MJF is now in the ring to answer MVP about joining. So,
people.
Spoiler alert, MJF says yes, but Bobby Lashley, Bobbles, is not having it. He takes the card and rips it up. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, no. And this, for me, kind of came out of nowhere a little bit, but also gives this a lot more credence, I think. I like that this development is there where there's a little bit of stuff in between them. They're not fully accepting MJF right away after he was like going on and on about the fact that he can't make friends anymore, but this is business and all that stuff. I think this gives it more legs. I don't think MJF's ever going to actually be part of the Hurt Syndicate. It wouldn't have worked, but this is much more fun.
Hey, it gives Max something to do. And MVP is like, yo, bro, what are we doing? But honestly, I'm like, yes, Bobby, do not trust this man as far as you can throw him. But honestly, Bobby, you could probably throw this man very far.
He would beel him like nobody's business.
So
I can see that in a second.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to talk about these boys a little bit later in the Dynamite review. But as of right now, it seems MJF is not joining the Hurt Syndicate, but via Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin being by, nah, bro, we good.
Shelton Benjamin.
Sorry, I have broccoli in my mouth at the moment. I do. I'm eating dinner. It is dinner time in here in the West Coast.
This is the quality content that we're putting up online right now for all of our lovely folks here.
Welcome to the ASMR mukbang. Just kidding.
God, if that were true.
No, we're good.
Moving on up.
So, as soon as the MJF stuff is done, immediately we jump into the Large William and Brian Key stuff where they want to challenge the Hurt Syndicate for the AEW Tag Team Championships. And MVP says that they'll consider it if these two can get a win and prove to them that they deserve a title shot, which sets up their match on Collision, which we'll talk about when we get there.
Either way, we're getting lots of things together that are moving through. Oh, yes. I saw the picture beforehand. I'm sorry, I got excited because Thunder Tits is here.
It's no longer Thunderstorm. It is now Thunder Tits.
I
love this.
Calling out the gay tension and all that stuff from her touching her belt. Like, Toni Storm is just unhinged at this point. Like, put her on commentary, put her everywhere. She is carrying and she's not replaying the old hits. Now, is she pushing boundaries on stuff and going farther than like a lot of people would? She's you can't control her. And I love that she's doing that. A lot of it is shock value, but damn, girl, like it just, you are not just entertaining, you are backing it up in the ring with everything else as well. I love this pairing. I love the commentary on it. Renee corpsing. It's just so good.
This picture explains it perfectly. Thunder and Renee are trying not to laugh. Luther in the background being like the hype man that he is. Like, I love this pairing. I love it for sure. And AEW, like I said at the beginning, if you don't move on it, we will make our own shirt for these two. And I have no qualms about it.
None of us do.
That's so good. I loved it. Thunder, we're going to talk about you a little bit later, especially because, let me tell you, I'm actually excited for this Owen Hart tournament because I'm like, my God, they actually stacked both divisions. This is going to be fun. Anyways, okay, I knew Brody wasn't winning, but damn, Kyle Fletcher got bent and bruised and folded like a chair in some aspects of this match. I enjoyed this.
Oh my God. I knew they were both good workers. I knew Brody King would work very well against Kyle's style. Yeah, it was overcoming the odds of the Don Fallis family and all that stuff, but in general, it was really fun. And Kyle made him look like a monster.
I love it. Unfortunately, because of, not my words, but RJ City and Mark Davis's, but Mr. Dumpy himself, Mark Davis gets involved, kind of helps Kyle out a little bit, which allows Kyle to pick up the victory. But it is not over because we don't even get a break. We don't get people going into the back because we just roll right in because Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher begin to beat up on Brody King. Then out comes Powerhouse Hobbs to even the odds. And then the fight We go to commercial, and this is where I see Von Wagner as AEW security.
Wednesday, baby.
I was like, it's Wednesday, baby. It's about to get crazy. We go to commercial. We come back. These two are being separated. I put that in air quotes because let's be real. I'm like, Powerhouse Hobbs and Mark Davis could literally steal all those dudes.
They could, every one of them. And I like seeing Powerhouse Hobbs being able to really like dig into something there and get up against it. And not like he's helping Brody King, but he's definitely keeping him like safe there.
Right.
Which is good. I kind of feel like there's going to be something to pay that off later.
Oh, absolutely. Which rolls into what we're going to talk about next. Is essentially, this was kind of a squash match, but I still enjoyed it. This was just two large men doing what large men do best, and it's like beating the piss out of each other, throwing each other.
3 different types of piss out of each other.
Yes, it was great. Powerhouse Hobbs ends up picking the victory here, so we're balancing out the scales. Where one member of the Don Callis family wins, somebody else is going to lose.
And hopefully it's someone that deserves to lose and not just someone that gets stuck with it.
No, I'm hoping that Mark Davis doesn't end up being the one that loses all the time.
No, but it seems like
he's going through that right now, especially since Mr. Takeshita is going to be busy the next couple of weeks in Japan. Stay tuned next Monday for our Sakura Genesis review with me and Adolfo.
I love that for you all. That's going to be amazing.
And then the following week, we're doing Windy City Riot 2, where Takeshita is the final United States opponent for the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Oh, gosh.
Because we're on this farewell tour. Come January, Hiroshi Tanahashi will be hanging up the boots. It's crazy.
He's stealing Von Wagner's thing there because come January, but still, you know.
Maybe. We'll see. That man has grabbed everybody who has lost their leader in the faction because Hontai is now so many people.
Oh, yeah.
But more on that next week. But going back to AEW, Nick Wayne out here kind of making moves without Christian, and I'm here for it.
It's a tentative step. I feel like it's not there totally yet, but it's getting there. He needs a definitive statement in the ring or like a move against something to really get there. Kip Sabian also kind of being a little bit out there, which is nice. I don't know.
So I agree with you. This is the first step for Nick, but hopefully this will lead to something more for, well, not just Nick, but for Kip too. Like if we want to let these two be a tag team, if we want this 3 to be a little faction and grab somebody else along the way, like I'm here for it. But we are hopefully starting to put into motion where we get these, specifically Nick, turning against Christian, and then Christian being all by his lonesome. But only time will tell. Him and his turtlenecks.
Oh, God, no more tactical turtlenecks, please. I'm done with that.
So, good on you, Nick. I'm going to put this here now because we'll talk about it more in depth on Collision, but having him team up with Leo Rush and Action Andretti is not the move. Anyways, but moving on. Did I stutter, bitch?
This will never die. This will never go away.
I was like, yes.
Forever fight, and yet also love it. Love it to death.
That is literally all I have in my notes for about this section is that did I stutter, bitch? These two are not going to have it. And I'm like, surely Swerve wins that Dynasty or Double or Nothing to set up for All In against Hangman. We'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it during our Dynasty predictions because honestly, I have no clue where that World Championship match is going. But yes, these two will fight forever, and I'm here for it.
100%.
Yes. This is less of a sit down and more of like a recorded therapy session that they did not know would turn into a therapy session.
This bothers me. There have been great things like this where it's been set up and feels organic, and you get the back and forth between the wrestlers, and it seems to okay. I'm like, oh, there's a triangle here that people aren't. This was so scripted and so forced. I couldn't glom on. Like, there wasn't buy-in, at least from 2 of the participants in this. Like, Cope definitely didn't feel like he wanted to do the storyline at all. And, you know, FTR Bald was doing his best with it while FTR Aggravated Assault did what he could. In general, they were right in the thing of, like, go for the tag titles. We don't need more of this. And Cope even knows. He's like, I don't need to push these guys over. They're already over. Put me somewhere else. So, I don't know.
But
alleged acquitted aggravated assault. Aggravated assault makes more sense.
Yeah. So FTR aggravated assault kind of plays Switzerland where he gets in the middle where he sees both points of view, but they have to do something to kind of get over it. And what better way than to get over issues in a group than to put these 3 in a championship match, which is made official by the acceptance of the Death Riders. So It is during this segment and later down the line that we get a confirmation that at AEW Dynasty, it will be the Death Riders defending the Trios Championships against Rated FTR. Spoiler alert, Rated FTR ain't walking out as the champions. So I'm just saying it now.
Which again is sad. They kind of need to do that at some point, but yeah, no, it's terrible.
No, I honestly think the Ops are really the only ones who probably could take the Trios Championships from Death Riders.
Yes.
But this is, and we're talking about Collision because Aggravated Results was not happy with Mr. AEW Burt Reynolds over here.
God.
So
the mustache was on point. I will say that.
Yes, I got lost in it for a little bit while I was watching Collision.
I think we all did.
Yes, we did. So this is the fourth match that gets added to Dynasty. So I'm like, am I going to enjoy this match? Yeah, probably. I never go into a match thinking it's going to suck. But obviously, I'm not expecting title to change hands in this match. So we move on to the next thing, which I love it when wrestlers are actually smart and they don't play dumb. So
right, exactly. Smart baby faces.
Smart baby faces is something I really enjoy. So we get this promo between Swerve and Mox. Of course, Swerve does what Swerve does best, and he calls it like he sees it, where, again, the best part of this whole entire exchange was Swerve telling Mox that I bleed for this. I will lead this new dynasty while you play Jon Moxley on TV. I'm like, oh my God.
Good shots across the bow, trying to get us some heat on this when there's been very little heat at all. You picked the right person to be the next one up for him. He's still drowning everything else in this crazy Death Rider fiasco.
Right. But again, we go back to smart baby faces because Swerve is in the ring with Mox. We end their exchange. Marina Shafir comes out. We thinking Swerve's about to get a beat down. And then out of frame comes my savior, Willow Nightingale, with a very large lead pipe.
You know what? It was the right size for the job. Like,
it really was. And Swerve's like, oh,
Marina soon. We need her. I'm getting sick of watching Marina do nothing except glower at the camera, which again comes back to Collision as well, but still.
Yes. Also, Moxley's face when she cut that promo in Russian and then in English too, and just like, girl, did you really say that on TV? Okay. Like, he's like, oh, she about to beat someone up. All right, I'm walking away. Anyways, so Swerve's like, oh, Moxley, you thought I was stupid? Nah, bro, I come prepared. And so then a brawl ensues. Everybody is out of the way. Let's be real. Claudio cannot really, if Marina really wanted to, there's no way Claudio is safely holding Marina Shafir back.
No.
Because he picked her up and carried her. I was like, homegirl will break your arm in half. You'll like it. So we are getting a mixed tag team match tomorrow on Dynamite with Swerve teaming up with Willow, taking on Moxley and Marina Shafir. I'm like, I rather want to see Marina versus Willow as a singles, but you know what? I will take it. I think this is unique for the situation that we got, and just be a true, like, equal rights, equal fights type of match. Like, let's be real. Marina could probably take everybody.
Easily, yeah. She would break every one of them down in 2 seconds. I feel like Yuta might have a chance just because he's wily and can actually work that technical style, but the rest of them not so much.
Oh, it's not Yuta. It's Mox and Marina versus Swerve.
I'm just saying within the group, is she
oh, true.
Go kill everybody.
That's very true. I kind of just want to see her kill everybody, but that's for a whole different episode. We can only hope for so many things. I don't care what nobody says. I like watching Samoa Joe choke out people, especially Max Caster. This was great. And also, shout out to AR Fox getting lots of screen time within the last couple of weeks, too. I'm not going to complain.
Ring time, screen time, he's everywhere, man. Like, he's still playing Jobber to the Stars in a lot of ways, but I think that it's worthwhile to have him there. So I'm happy to see a friend of the channel, AR Fox.
Yes, absolutely. Love him. Also, Joe admitting to Hook, be like, you know what? Choking out people is kind of fun. I see why you do it.
Yeah, totally.
Love it. We got a confirmation 2 weeks, but once again, I guess we had to reconfirm that Switchblade is now entering the Owen Hart tournament. So I was like, what was that 2 weeks ago?
No one saw that because it got wrapped up in all the stuff going into the pay-per-view and such. I think they need to reset to remind us Jay White's still here. And now he's kind of free of all the other stuff. He needs to be reestablished as a badass so he can lose in the Owen Hart tournament. But that's beside the point.
Yeah. We're going to talk about it when we get to Collision because I'm more excited for the women's bracket than I am the men. Don't get me wrong. The men's is stacked. But I'm excited about who we have in the women's side of things. So it's going to be interesting. But Switchblade has confirmed himself for the Owen Hart filler.
Yes, except
Not
Smash
really.
Mouth filler, like a decent TV match. I was watching it. I think I put this in the group chat. Like, oh, it's a decent TV match.
Right?
I'm surprised that they got that out of each other, and they kept it slow enough. Looked kind of dangerous, and Takeshita sold for him. So hey, good on it.
Hey, you're building Takeshita up after losing the international championship to Kenny. And also, it's great to give him this win because the next 2 weeks, he's going to be in Japan and in Chicago. So Takeshita is just living the life. He is in AEW. He is signed to New Japan, and he's still signed to DDT Wrestling too. So
awesome.
Wrestling is just really great right now. In a world where I could see Zack Sabre Jr. at Effie's Big Gay Brunch is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. So the plot is thickening, kind of. Bobby and Shelton are like, MVP, what's going on? You can't be serious about letting MJF in. And MVP's like, just let me work my magic. I think MJF has potential, so don't count him out yet. And I was like, the plot kind of thickens.
Well, and also, I didn't put this out in the earlier part of it, but I also loved, and especially with the camera work on it too, after MJF came out and with his, his new usual, not just Burberry style tartan, but the black and white, monochrome tartan he wears. MVP's suit in a certain light looked like his tartan chrome thing. I was like, oh, let's see. So that he's definitely on his side here. He's starting to become part of MJF's world. It's very interesting what they're doing with that stuff, whether or not they planned it that way.
Right. It's the small little details that I appreciate in wrestling because it sets up not just the story and what we visually see and what we're verbally told, but it also sets up those subtle nods too. The show don't tell. It's like, and MVP, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, and MVP is a businessman too. So it makes a lot of sense that he would be more on MJF's side because that's how you close a deal with anybody, especially when it comes to MVP is giving me like sports agent where you schmooze up to the potential client and then when you sign them and then that's when the real work can begin. So MVP is doing what MVP does best.
What I was saying also is that like you watch the other products now and they're flashier in certain ways, like you got the drone on Raw and all that stuff and a bunch of other things. And while AEW isn't pioneering stuff that way, they are still trying new stuff to visually set up just the look of the show, and also their shots are so much more now. It's very intriguing to the eye and not in an offensive way where it's like thrown at you like, look at this cool piece of technology. We're framing it almost cinematically in certain ways to get you to understand the basics behind it, which is even funnier because you go back and look at like WWE now, especially is described as a cinematic product with wrestling involved versus AEW being the wrestling show that does a TV show. Like I'm loving that they're leaning into the fact that they have fun ways they can present things, but not to the point where that is the star of the show, not the folks involved.
Absolutely. Which leads us into the main event of Dynamite. Okay, so I was for real until they told us, I was like, they'll probably put this at the beginning or the middle of the card because Dynamite and AEW somehow don't let it. And then, when I heard this is going to be the main event, I was like, all right, let these women cook. Let them do their damn thing for the most part. I'm hoping to see Penelope Ford do something more because I'm like, love you so much, P Ford.
She kind of is the odd woman out in this entire structure, especially in this match too. She was there to take the heat, so Megan Bayne didn't. Thunder seemed to be still like she's misstepping one or two things every once in a while. I don't know whether there's some more rust there that she hasn't acknowledged, or there's an underlying injury she hasn't acknowledged. But she definitely was a little slow to the pickup on a couple things. There was a couple of miscommunications that didn't look like planned miscommunications. They looked like I missed a cue and someone's calling something in the ring. But when Tony got in there and Tony with everybody moving around and setting up Bane's power and Ford being sneaky and a little bit of a wily thing, like it just really worked overall to the point where when the loss came out of nowhere and they pinned the champion, like, ooh, that's a spicy.
I was pleasantly surprised. I'm like, oh my God, Megan Bayne not only got the win for her team, but she got the win by pinning Timeless Tony Storm.
Which affected Tony, like in a great way, where she it wasn't that she was allowed to happen. She couldn't really fathom it.
And so Luther's like, oh, damn.
And you leave Dynamite with that image, like Dynasty is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. This short build on a match where they just shove someone into the spotlight, I liken this to when they stuck Deonna Purrazzo in quickly and tried to like get it up. This is working better than that, and those two had history. I don't get it. Other than Megan Bain's also amazing, and then she knows how to carry and knows what her role is.
Absolutely. I don't know. I think, and I'm biased because as one of the two GCW correspondents here now on BC Wrestle Pod, watching Megan over the last year has been so much fun. But also because of that independent of GCW, she's been able to fight all sorts of folks on both spectrums. Like, she would have typical matches against some of the other GCW folks too. But even visiting people, she's fought Jordan Grace. She's fought, she's even fought other male wrestlers. Like, she just fought at the Hammerstein Ballroom show earlier this year against Atticus Cogar. She's been in tag team matches with her boyfriend, Joey Janela. She's won a battle royale where she tossed over both men, and like, Megan has fought so many people, and I think she's gotten so many reps in. I was like, that's the cool part. But like you said, JVL, she also knows her role in this particular aspect within AEW in this particular story. She's just out here to throw people and F5 people all over the place.
100%. And even dropping Tony onto the belt, I think it was like last week or something like that, where she almost missed her, but it got her there and like halfway over. She knows what she needs to do to pull this off, and Penelope Ford is helping her seem like a badass as well, just being that little like person dancing around her. It's well presented. I hope this lives up to the billing of Dynasty, basically, is what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I want this match to be amazing because I think the potential is there. And I'm excited. This is how I hope so.
They won't let it, but this could be an event. I mean, who else are going to really main event with? I mean, Swerve, Moxley, maybe, but
that's as of right now, we only have 5 matches.
Yeah, and well, it's like a smaller pay-per-view, anyways.
So this is how Dynamite went off the air. This was fantastic. I enjoyed my Dynamite this past week. This was a lot of fun.
Same. I was excited to watch it the day after on Max.
So. Now, let us move on to the world of Saturday Night.
We're going to get demonetized if you sing that. He's
very true. So, Saturday Night Collision took place on Saturday.
Event like last week.
It was only one night. I was like, okay, full 2-hour block. Here we go. So, this Saturday Night Collision on Saturday, March 29th. And we kick things off with Tony Storm promo, which I was like, anytime I can see Tony on my screen, I'm never going to complain.
Rosie the freaking Riveter too, which
is so damn good. I was just like, you know what, Tony? Again, AEW, if you haven't already capitalized on it, this is the image you need to put on t-shirts. Like,
oh no, it's her with the title doing that. You want
exactly,
but again, we come back to the things they're really trying with her, this whole like Hollywood starlet, but matched up like very dramatic, dark lights, all that. And then the camera cut afterwards after she gets through most of her double entendre, which continue to go down that road, Tony. You are wonderful at it. Penelope Ford kicks her in the face.
I loved it. It's just like, and a kick to the face.
And then she came out of the darkness too, which is great with the pull down there, but it's out of nowhere, Penelope Ford.
And then of course the Megasis herself makes sure to capitalize on it, leaving Tony flying on the floor. Megasis also, but not before Timeless Tony Storm laying out Penelope too.
Oh my gosh, she just took her straight down.
It was so good. We love to see it. I'm excited for this match. This is going to be fun.
It needs to main event the pay-per-view. It's the best it has, and it's going to be great work. You coward, Tony, Tony Khan. Put this on last.
Tony Khan. Do it, you coward.
It's a B show for you. What do you have to lose? Except being awesome.
For reals. So good. Dare I say, Claudio, I'll give you this one. I was like, you know what? I did not hate it.
I hated it.
Okay. Somebody has to.
There was no feeling behind it. It was so rambly. There's a reason you're not the mouthpiece for this, dude. Like, you tried, but you're also working with absolute crap right now. I think he needs to be the silent enforcer in the background.
He does.
Funny as he is in real life, he's playing a badass. Be the badass, don't talk.
For reals. Where is Pac in this whole entire thing, by the way? I'm like, what?
Pac's washed his hands of this, except for one promo later on. He's like, I just don't want to deal with this crap right now. I'm stuck in here with you guys for no reason because I lost Penta and Ray, who are the original Death Triangle, which would work better.
I know. It's very unfortunate. This is also where Marina says something, again, says it in Russian, says it in English. Mox looks at her like, did you really say? Okay, we moving on. I'm so ready for this story to be done. Please let it be done soon. But,
keep going to y'all in. We know it is.
They're going to keep it going to y'all in Texas. I can't. My boy.
Kevin Knight.
Yeah, so listen, There was no way in hell that Mr. Kevin Knight was going to win. I love Kevin so much, but I already know. I was like, yeah, Jay White's going to win this one. But this was a fun match. And I laughed a little bit afterwards in the Jay promo, but Jay gave him his props. And that,
I was going to say, like, also, we run into the whole thing that AEW loves to do, which is someone's wrestled a pretty high-intensity match, and then you've got to deliver a 10-minute promo.
Gosh, that was
out
awful.
of breath. And so Jay White's trying to suck in breath, not spit everywhere. I'm like, dear God, man. I don't wish that on my worst enemy.
No, I don't either. But of course, I'm biased as hell. I love Kevin Knight, New Japan, TNA, part of one of my favorite tag teams right now in the modern era of, the intergalactic jet setters. And of course, I lied. My number one, or the one that I would be the most hyped for, especially if you want to have him work both Collision and Ring of Honor, is him versus Commander at some point for that title.
Yeah, I could definitely see that too. I think him versus Kyle Fletcher in a weird
yes,
amazing.
When he's better too, because of the independent scene, Kevin versus Buddy Matthews.
Yes, of course.
I'm just happy, but it is confirmed, and Tony Khan confirmed it during the episode of Collision. Kevin Knight is All Elite, so he is officially signed to the roster, and I'm like,
welcome aboard.
Busting his butt in New Japan and TNA, fantastic. Also in MLW too. He's been fun watching over there.
Time to get him some reps and have him slow down a bit so he can actually enjoy his career a bit instead of going to every independent ever.
I'm looking at you, Mike Santan. Just kidding.
And Jay White needed win, giving his flowers. Let's see him go on a streak here and show his deviousness.
I laughed. It's like, this is the part of the promo where you go to the back.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, this was fun. I enjoyed this match.
Oh, yeah.
Mercedes Moné was in action against Robin Renegade, who we have not seen in a hot minute on AEW television. This is 5 minutes. Robin loses, of course, which makes me very sad. But Mercedes wins.
I can hear Jesse somewhere out there in there screaming into the void.
Yep.
And it not Robin's fault. Sloppy freaking match. Mercedes, I don't know what's going on. You go to Japan and wrestle Joshi style. You go to MLW. You seem to be able to hold yourself in the ring. And I don't know whether it's because your opponents are allowed to actually work their style or what it is. What is going on in all of your matches in AEW? They are sloppy. It bothers the crap out of me that you're holding all these titles, and when you're on TV for where the majority of folks are seeing you that aren't like actual big wrestling fans, you don't showcase why you're a champion.
I'm mad that she has all these belts because of the people she had to beat to get them. Like, I'm trying to remember. I'm mad that she beat Willow for the New Japan Strong title.
I go back to this. When she's in those settings, the matches weren't bad. When she beat them, it wasn't decisive, but it wasn't like I didn't believe she didn't deserve to get it. But then she's turning around when she's wrestling here. It feels like one of the legends they used to bring back in WWE 15 years past their prime was like, I do 5 moves and I can do them well, but I'm slow and I just can't figure things out.
Well, let's think about it. So she beat Willow for New Japan Strong. She also beat Willow for the TBS Championship. And then she beat Mina Shirakawa for that Rev Pro UK title that Mina was holding, because that match happened at Dynasty in Japan. No, this year, beginning of January.
Oh, Wrestle Dynasty.
Yeah. So initially it was just a singles match. And then like a week or two before, it was a winner take all match. And I'm like, gosh darn it, Mercedes is about to take that UK title, isn't she? And sure enough, she did. I am hoping and I am praying, because Mercedes is scheduled to go back to the UK this month. I need either Kanji or Dani Luna to take that title from her, because those are the 2 matches she has coming up soon.
Please. Or make it a triple threat between the 3 of them.
That would be such a beautiful thing. I'm going to be so for real, and this is really shady of me to say, but Dani Luna is about half a Mercedes age, because Dani is only 23 and she can run circles around Mercedes. Same thing with Kanji. Kanji is in her late 20s, early 30s, but she can, when you take the title off of Jenny, one of the premier UK wrestlers before her unfortunate retirement, like, that speaks volumes.
I'm still waiting for her to become out as a valet for Gunther at some point. I know she wouldn't do it, but it'd be amazing.
I love Jenny so much. It's unfortunate that she had to cut her career short due to injury, but I loved her. And honestly, she was the catalyst of one of my favorite Progress Wrestling women's feuds, because it was her during the lockdown era where she still put on promos and she still had matches, and it involved Kanji and Giselle Shaw. Like, those 3 killed it in that feud.
They did. And I also loved her when she was in part of NXT UK, when she would battle against Isla Dawn and like all those folks out there.
Like when the European wrestlers were actually taken seriously.
But moving on in this, we got a promo at the end of this match, which brings down what we've all been waiting for.
Yes, the setup is
good
here.
Wrestler of the two of them, which people keep responding to the fact they've worked together and across the ring from each other in a tag match once, but never faced each other one-on-one.
No. So, and then of course this leads to yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Who's going to take the old face? Not Mercedes, because she's never taken it before. She probably doesn't know how to. Let's get Robin Renegade, who's been taking it for 3 years down in ROH.
So we're going to talk about you a little bit later in the show, Athena, because you and Billy on AEW television, I'm here for it.
Oh, we need this more. Can you imagine if we have timeless Tony Storm as our champion and we've got Athena as the TBS champion with Billy Starr? This would be, and then stick them in a tag team match to take on all comers and just bury the rest of the women's division.
Honestly, I'd be kind of here for that.
Oh, yes.
The promos between those two, if they were a team as well, would be gold. I'm still mad that they ousted Lexi.
Hear it in Tony's voice. I'm waiting for you to make me do my own face.
Athena, I love you. We're going to talk about you a little bit down the line in Collision, because first, I want to have a moment of silence. Top Flight and their potential to actually be tag champions.
Yeah. Well, they've traded out their valets so many freaking times. Is it Action Andretti? Is it, Layla Gray? Is it anybody else? No, they've just, they're in a holding pattern. They're stuck. They can't land. The plane is just shunted midair. And can I ask an honest question about this?
Sure.
What did Brian Keith add to this match?
Nothing, because it was all Large William doing that. All the lifting.
Wilhelm that was this there to batter everybody.
He is literally the tree, and Brian Keith was just there.
Yeah, Brian Keith is, if you think about in the scheme of things, Brian Keith at that point is the leprechaun dancing around the tree. I remember when he debuted and how excited you were for the bounty hunter to be there and how much you were on his side. This is going to be amazing. And they have squandered Brian Keith.
Independent circuit bounty hunter is not the same person as AEW bounty hunter Brian Keith, and it's really sad.
Yeah. Sorry, Bad Apple Brian Keith.
They should have just kept him in ROH, but even then he would be wasted, but I digress.
Can we move on? There's nothing else to say about this.
No, Brian Keith and Big Bill, mostly Big Bill by himself with Brian Keith attached to the hip, pick up a victory here. Nobody wants this feud. I thought we were done.
Well, no, Action Andretti does because he gets on TV.
They split. They had their match. We were done. I thought we were finished. And now, 2-3 months later, you're going to bring it back? Nobody cares. And I didn't include the picture because it wasn't worth my time. But then these two clowns of Leo and Action go to Nick Wayne because AR Fox comes in to make it a 3-on-2 as they try to attack Top Flight and get in their faces about it. And Nick's like, no, I'm not going to be a part of this. I was like, you have no reason there is no legitimate way I would work with you two clowns. Poor Kip Sabian tries well, let's hear him out, get to the point. And so I was like, y'all didn't make a compelling case. And Leo Rush, I know you can talk on the mic, but bro, that exchange, you let Action talk. You let Action Andretti talk. How dare.
For 3 months, his gimmick was to down a bottle of water in 1 second.
I'm like, this is crazy that Top Flight granted, they've been injured a lot too. But at the same time, they and Private Party are one of your staple tag teams. And Private Party at least got a run, albeit to be transitional champions.
Right.
But damn, Top Flight hasn't gotten anything, which is wild.
Nothing at all.
No.
Nothing at all.
I don't care about this feud, and you can't make me care about it. Tone it. Sorry. Not sorry.
Nope.
Our girl. Listen, if I were to interview any of the AEW women, listen, Thunder, I love her to death, and I would still do that. But Jamie is also on my list too. I'm like, Jamie Hater, the hater. We are part of the Haterade Nation up in here.
We are all haters together.
We are. But Jamie Hayter, with Lexi Nair, iconic duo right here.
Very much so. And you know what? It started off a little rough. Hayter's still kind of filling in that role. She's tweening right now and she doesn't know how far she can push it. But I'm excited to see her in the Owen Hart tournament. I want to see her on TV more. She gave us a great match tonight. It was just, I was happy to see her use. Isa's been figured out now.
Which I was happy. I was like, thank the Lord. Anyways, but in this promo, and I kind of didn't include the picture, but earlier, we find out from not only Queen, but from Jamie too, because earlier in the night, Queen cannot compete in her match against Jamie due to wrist injury. But we have I'm excited for when she is cleared because I think those two could have a fun match. Miss Deeb, though, we know your promos aren't your strong suit. I love you, Serena, but we know that is,
At this point, Serena, you're so far into your career, you should know better than to speak on a microphone.
and I'm just like, the queen of Team Juicy herself was just like, you know what, queen? You own that. I was like, I won this week. I don't care what nobody says. As a wrestling fan, I win.
You do. We all win, Mikey. And that was I put that in the group chat for that thing. When we get there anyways, like just about like the fact that I was like pleasantly surprised how well they did.
Also, the other thing to add too is Jamie enters herself into the women's Owen Harp. I'm like, oh God, before we get to the other two who announced themselves, I'm like, Lord, this is about to be a stacked tournament already. More on that to come in a little bit.
Let's go for it.
We get a face-to-face between these two. Essentially, we knew what this was going to be.
Yeah. Dragged out for no good reason. Roderick Strong trying to recapture his glory days of yelling at him when it just doesn't work anymore, Roddy.
It doesn't work. And this sets up no time limit, no outside interference. Third time, Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole, baby, for the TNT championship. I'm still looking forward to this match because the previous two encounters have been fun. I've enjoyed it.
Been fun. I don't know where else they have to go with this. Like after
that's very true.
I don't know what else they can pull out of their hat to make this work.
No. So that is all that this segment was made for, to officially confirm this is a match at Dynasty.
There we go. We got it.
Yes, all day long. Mercedes. Did I do it right?
You did.
Kind
of. Perfect.
But I love this so much. We get from here that Athena is entering her. The Owen Hart, I'm like, oh, good God, the stakes have just been raised. Well, Mercedes is also in there too. I was like, okay, cool. But Athena, Jamie, I'm like, who else is about to enter this thing? And Athena tells Billy, she's in the main event of Collision. So in the words of RuPaul, good luck and don't fuck it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But give me this iconic duo on Collision. On Ring of Honor, it's been played out because we've been seeing this for 2 years. But this dynamic on AEW, I'm kind of here for it again.
Well, and if they can pull Lexi back in again on AEW,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Big William.
Just let them run Collision. Let these three be all about it on Collision. I'm here for it.
The three of them, and then they interview Tony Storm.
I would actually, I'd be like, you know what? I can die tomorrow and I'd be perfectly okay with it.
The world would end in the best possible way.
Bring me the chaos.
Why can't AEW have an Evolution style pay-per-view? I'm waiting for this now. They have the roster and the talent. They could do it.
Seriously. And you're working with all these promotions too. You could probably you can utilize this big roster, but also have like the international, people you work with also send people in. You could literally have a Dynasty 2.0, but just nothing but women's match. The Stardom girls are all here. Like this is like for real.
AEW contingent in, like you could have a whole and make it like Wrestle Dream, but make it just a women's pay-per-view.
Yes, loved it. So Billy has her work cut out for her against Jamie Hayter in the main event. Athena is in this Owen Hart tournament. Life is good to be a professional wrestling fan, period. Not just women's wrestling, but wrestling, period. So good. This was a match. I did not hate it. No. Wheeler Yuta winning kind of made sense in my reality.
Yeah, I was with you on that one. I mean, FTR Bald needs to get more fire underneath him that he's not doing well and that it's not going to work. So you have to have Yuta beat him in the skeeviest possible manner.
Right. Betrayed. Okay, so
who didn't see that coming from the really well done promo on Dynamite?
So Andrew's gonna get mad at me for saying this, but I honestly don't care. Love you, Andrew. So on the social medias, I posted the particular clip with Dax pushing Cash and all of that. And then everything that happened afterwards. And Andrew's like, absolutely not. If these two break up, I don't know what we're going to do. I'm like, honestly, Andrew's like, there are some teams that can break up. This is not one of them.
Except for the fact that Dax has stated repeatedly, he's kind of in the end of his run. He's kind of winding down, whereas Cash, who's I think a bit younger, has stated he's still got some life in him. So if this is setting it up to kind of also test run Dax retiring or stepping back a bit, I'm not against it. But it can't last long.
It cannot. So definitely, I think there will be some fractions. The match at Dynasty will definitely put those cracks even further.
Cope's gonna like hit Dax with a spear and everything's gonna go to high hell.
I would not be surprised if we get like Dax, Cope, Cash, some mix of those three at Double or Nothing in some crazy match. Who knows? But Dax pushes Cash. Dax is like, I'm sorry, dude. Let me help you up. Cash is like, piss off and walks away.
It doesn't walk away, it rolls out.
Yep.
And, like, stumbles away.
FTR Burt Reynolds is by himself, contemplating all choices he has made.
FTR Ole Anderson and FTR Tully Blanchard. Yeah, ooh, I know.
Watch our TNA review to feel to see the three of our opinions about.
Don't watch the TNA review until you know who TB gets kicked out of TNA Impact. There's no reason for me to watch that show.
Very fair. Moving on.
Thunder roasted back again.
2 nights. Okay, so this promo was very awkward between the two of them, but
Really?
piss off. The important thing to come out of this is that Chris and Thunder have entered themselves in. So we have Mercedes, Athena, Jamie, Chris, Thunder. I'm like, give me Nyla Rose and I will be happy. Oh, Lord.
We need this now. We need Nyla Rose. We need all this stuff with it. But my gods, talk about stealing momentum after a big loss to Megan Bayne. Like, Thunder is not helping right now. I don't think she's helping anywhere she is. I don't know what she needs to do to get her head right, but I'm not aggravated to see her, but I'm just kind of like, why? There's no reasoning behind anything she's doing. No. And so Stat suffers for it.
I'm gonna be so for real, and I know this is like some people would see this as a bad thing. I kind of was digging her feud that she had with Hart. Like, that was such a weird feud, but I enjoyed it and I love their dynamic. So I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't have been mad if Thunder and Harley were paired together for a little bit.
Put them together on a tag team, make them coexist, do something.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Thunder having to deal with Harley's craziness, but then coming to love her. I'm so mad we missed the train on that. But Harley is busy being Harley Graham right now.
No, she's not. She has said multiple times she is not Harley Graham.
If that's what you need to tell yourself. No, but seriously, Harley, I love you so much. We love you. You have grown on us and you are putting in the work, girl. Like, we love it. But Chris, 100%. Chris, Thunder, Athena, Mercedes, Jamie, like, honestly, I'm looking forward they're supposed to announce the full bracket tomorrow night on Dynamite. So I'm so interested of who's filling out the rest of the women's bracket. The men's is not a slouch either. I'm more excited for the women, but you have Hangman, Jay White, Ospreay in the men's division. I'm like, but the women is where it's at for me right now.
And I'll go back to that again. Like, the men's, for all of the amount of people they've got on the roster, for me seems really samey for the last 2 rounds. Like, it doesn't seem like I'm getting any really great new matches. Whereas I know a lot of these women were in the tournament last year, but for some reason they've all evolved so much over the last year that it feels fresh. It feels like there's good stuff. I mean, Jamie was out for a year, so she wasn't in it last year. We don't have the previous winners in it, I don't believe.
No, Mariah and Britt are not in here.
So we have a fresh start, whereas we have previous winners, I believe, in the Owen Hart tournament, because I believe that they're going to put Adam Cole in it. If I'm not surprised,
I would not be surprised if they did. And then, of course, the other winner was Ricky Starks,
but he's not here anymore. But
no,
I don't know.
No,
it still feels stale to me for a reason. I don't know if I'm the only one either. I mean, out there in AEW, in Bi-Conics land, if you agree with me or have a thought on that, please drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear if you think that the men's Owen Hart is seeming stale already.
Right, but the women's, I'm excited to see who fills out the rest of the brackets, and please. Like, I hope they learned their lesson from last year, because it was still a very small tournament. I'm like, open the fields up to 8 to 12. Like, literally, you have, because the finals, I'm assuming, will probably happen at Double or Nothing, which means you have 2 months to do this tournament. So open it up to more participants.
Anything to make it work.
Even bring in international girls, like the international teams, like bring other people from other promotions too. Like, you can definitely do that. Also, put Speedball in the tournament.
Just for the heck of it.
So that leads into this. The men's and women's brackets will be announced on Dynamite, so cannot wait. So originally scheduled to be our main event was Jamie Hayter versus Queen Aminata, as we said earlier in the show. That is no longer the case. Right. And instead, dare I say, this was my favorite match of Collision.
I agree. It was exactly what I needed it to be. It was, as I put in the group chat, it was a great TV match. Like, they really worked a TV style match. Billy did exactly what her job was supposed to be. Jamie got a couple of good heat spots in there. It felt back and forth. It was fun. And I got to see them both work really hard. And, it was nice to see both on my TV screens.
Yep. Jamie with that nasty finisher too was so good to watch. Jamie picks up the victory. Athena comes down the ramp. Jamie and Athena get into a verbal scuffle from the safety of a couple feet away. But Billy is like, oh crap.
In the Owen Hart.
That'd be great. Which makes me sad, because I'm like, I don't want Jamie to get eliminated first.
No, I don't either. But yeah.
So, because we're going off of what the winner gets from last year, because last year was the second year we did it, but the first time they did it, winner gets a championship match. So I'm like, there's a lot. Honestly, if I were going to pick, Athena would be a pick of mine to probably win it. But I'm really, unless they reveal other women, Jamie's my number one pick right now. I think Jamie should win the tournament and get a chance to get the title back that she truly never lost.
Well, and especially if you're doing it y'all in, having Jamie after Tony Storm. Oh, like that's the reason to ever win the Owen Hart is to get her against Tony Storm at Y'all In.
Y'all in Texas. Here we come. But that brings us to the end of our weekly AEW review.
This was a great week of AEW. I'm sorry. I really enjoyed it. And also with the news coming out that a lot of the viewing figures have been skewed because they're not counting a bunch of stuff on Max and how Max is actually helping AEW do well. I mean, for me, I'm able to watch it week to week now. Like I had to find other ways to do it that were definitely legal in the past. Now it's it's not even a thought for me. I can jump on Max, watch it the next day. It's perfect.
Oh, absolutely. But while that does bring us to the end of our regular AEW review, we are not quite done this evening. Oh no.
Oh,
so
no,
while
do we need to call somebody in to ask him to join here?
You could definitely ask really quickly if you want to. I'm gonna send that in between the two of us. But while we get all set up, we're about to jump into our AEW Dynasty predictions. So while I get the slides ready for all of that and get the form to all debug, enjoy this 10-second dance break.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Wow. Jesse is also sending me things of the the big kicks and stuff of Billy going after Jamie.
We love to see it. So we, as of right now, are going to be doing our predictions for AEW Dynasty. So as of the recording of this episode, we still have a Dynamite and a Collision for the go-homes this upcoming week. And we only got 5 matches so far. So we're going to do our best to talk about these 5 matches. And then, of course, when you check on the social medias the day of Dynasty on Sunday to see the full picks, where I will probably be adding more matches as we go along, because y'all know that Tony Khan loves to put in lots of matches. So let us begin. So the matches are going to go in order of when they were announced. So we're going to start with what was first announced to what was most recently announced. And we're going to begin by talking about this International Championship 3-way match between our champion, Kenneth Omega, taking on Speedball Bailey and Ricochet. So again, we last 2-3 weeks, we've had qualifiers, and then we had that fatal 4-way between
Kenny Omega. I'm just picking Kenny Omega now. Sorry, I had to get it out of there quick. This is one of the ones that's easiest to think of because I know what the plan is for them at Y'all In. So sorry.
Well, fuck my drag then. No, it's okay.
They've been literally showing their hands on this of what the planning is going forward for probably 4 or 5 months now, especially as Kenny was getting closer to coming back. And the fact that they want to combine the Continental and the International title together, what better match do you have than to replay an old New Japan special of Okada versus Omega? So there's no way in hell this is doing anything for anything else.
Well, anyways, I also have Kenny Omega, but we got here because of some qualifiers and some shenanigans. The Fatal 4-Way, which had Ricochet and Speedball double pin Mark Davis, which had both of them being to face Kenny Omega. That is how we got here, but I agree with you, Kenny Omega for the win.
Sorry.
No, you're not.
It's the easiest one it's the easiest one here.
Okay.
This is a tough one.
Yes, I'm legit 50-50.
Because there are so many places it could go if you put the title on Swerve. If you keep it on Moxley, I don't know what the end game is, because he's got to lose it at Y'all In then, but who is he facing at that point? Is it someone in the Owen Hart tournament that would be better to go up against Mox? So I have 2 trains of thoughts. So train A is Swerve is our savior. He is Black Jesus incarnate and will save us from this Death Rider storyline by winning the title here and becoming champion. Train B is Moxley retains. And then, you mentioned where do we go from here? Because honestly, I could also see them having Mox, unfortunately, hold this thing until Y'all In. And if that is the plan, which I hope it's not, I honestly think the person who could take it off of him is probably going to be the winner of the Owen Hart. And depending on how the rest of the bracket goes, I think that winner is Hangman. I think Hangman versus Mox is at Y'all In. Don't need to see.
No, I'm not saying I want to see it. I'm just saying, I'm thinking, if I were Tony Khan, that would be a thought in my brain. And Tony, if you're listening, please let that thought go, because nobody wants to watch that.
I'm already losing this season of stuff, so I figured I'd go out on a limb. I picked Swerve.
I am also going to pick Swerve here just because,
We're gonna
Swerve
pick
is
the
my
same
dude.
ones for every single one of these. I have a weird feeling, and so there's no chance in hell that I can win anything anyways.
And to be fair, this is the final one for the 2024-2025 season, and then Double or Nothing will start the 2025-2026 season.
Of course it will. So that's why I'm not caring right now. I know I lost, so I'm getting to pick where I want to.
I'm going to be asking for sizes later.
I did ask the professor to join us, at least send his picks in so we could put them up. But he's cooked. He drove home in a snowstorm, so he's extremely cooked.
I will get his picks before Sunday when I have to make and post our social media stuff for it. But I'm going with Swerve just out of hatred and death to the Death Rider storyline.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So third match, also an easy pick, but I want this to main event so badly.
Same here. But yes, I think we're both
Timeless
here.
Tony Storm versus
retains.
Yeah, I have Tony winning, but Timeless Tony Storm versus the Megasis Megan Bayne. This is gonna be fun, but I have Tony retaining here.
Same, pretty easy. Cut and dry.
Let this main event, you cowards, Death Riders.
Yeah. This is the breakup angle, so they've got to lose. So
why? It makes no sense for Rated FTR to win. If they do, I will actually. I don't know what moment AEW at an AEW pay-per-view that would make me more mad. The fact of what we got with Mox versus Cope at Revolution main eventing, or the fact if Rated FTR walks away as champions, I'll be like, what the is going on?
Only thing I can think is if they walk away as champions, then having the breakup while they're champions could hold some weight, I guess, but it doesn't track enough for me to be worthwhile.
Oh, no, it does not. So, breakup angle, I have Death Riders, you have Death Riders. And finally, as of now until tomorrow in Collision, where we get like 8 more matches.
Which Mike will update our picks for those afterwards too. But
I did for Revolution, and I think I did okay, because I feel like we all, for the most part, picked Okada over Brody King.
Yeah, no, totally.
So we're fine. But the final match we're going to discuss is the TNT Championship. This is the third in the series. No time limit, no outside interference. So I have Adam Cole, baby, winning this one.
Ooh, I think Daniel Garcia retains.
Ooh.
I think that they put it on him. They get out of this little feud, which like weirdly gets a breakup going in Undisputed Era or Undisputed Kingdom, or some shenanigans happen where he just doesn't lose it. He doesn't lose it.
Honestly, I would be okay with that too, but I'm just gonna go with Adam Cole for this one because
why not?
Just like you're gonna go out on a limb because you're already the loser. I'm gonna go on a limb because I'm already the winner.
Love it.
I mean this in the best way possible, but there's no other way to say it, so I don't care. Y'all can get mad at me. When Adolfo stopped reviewing AEW, that was my main opponent in these predictions league for AEW. And so I'm happy I won, but I also don't like that I won by default.
If I may also put out there, your true competition was not Adolfo. It was Alice.
I'm going to be so for real. It was really, because I was like, every single pay-per-view that we did predictions for, she always ended up in second place, or she would overtake, and she got first a couple of times too. I'm like, oh God, Alice was the real competition.
100%. She always is. And I miss her dearly. I miss her takes on things. I miss talking to her on here. I hope she's doing okay. Alice, we love you. We love you, Adolfo. And it was nice to see your face on a couple other things, but hopefully I get to see you soon.
Oh, absolutely. So that brings us to the end of our Dynasty picks. So Dynasty is this Sunday, April 6th. There will not be a watch along for it. And the three of us will figure out how we're going to watch this before the review on Tuesday without kicking each other out.
No problem last time, although the professor wasn't going to watch anyways. So I think it'll be, or if we stagger it, it should be fine.
Right. So we'll talk about it afterwards. But that is going to be the end for All Elite this week. When we come back next Tuesday, we will be reviewing AEW Dynasty. So hopefully the whole trio would be here. So
as I say, it's not Dynasty, it's
Nasty. Miss Jackson, if you dynasty. No, my first name ain't Baby.
It'll be our Dynasty review.
Of Dynasty reviews for the remainder of this week. So tomorrow night is a double feature where you can catch our NXT squad reviewing, NXT, as we gear up for Stand and Deliver in 3 weeks. We just got announced.
You mean Stand and Deliver? That's starting at 9:30 in the morning on the West Coast.
It's always been like this for the last 3 years since they decided
Not that early.
Yes, it was. My dude.
Last year, I thought because it was still West Coast, they did it at like 10:30 or 11. It was still
They
early.
did it at 10 a.m., so 30 minutes is not that much of a difference.
For having a beer. It is like, and I think of myself at 9:30 in the morning trying to have a beer at a wrestling show. It's like, no, 10 o'clock I can make it work. Like, it's almost lunch.
Well, you don't know, as of right now, nobody else has to worry about it because I'm the only one who signed up for NXT Watch Along. So Adolfo and Minnie have no choice. Those two are going to watch that pay-per-view with me.
Good luck to them.
Minnie is fine. He keeps up with NXT somewhat. I am excited though because Adolfo is familiar because we are going to have Miss Stephanie Vaquer defending her championship at that show. It is announced, so it's going to be good. So we're going to have a good time. And then later in the evening, tomorrow night, you can catch me, Will, and Adolfo reviewing CMLL with Lucha Libre Goodness.
Which is also a very awesome show. Please watch that. It's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh. The amount of crossover between all these promotions, because CMLL has a good relationship with New Japan and, you know, also AEW too. We literally had Taya Valkyrie and Lady Frost like the last 2 weeks compete for the women's tag team championships, and
we're fire.
And also in a couple of weeks we're having MLW pop in too, so it's gonna be crazy watching them go up against CMLL, which is strategic because then, you know, all that good stuff is happening. So it's gonna be a fun show. Then on Thursday, you can at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, you can catch the Progressive reviewers, me and Andrew, as we review Progress Wrestling Fix Your Hearts, where we talk about Car Noir, my new boyfriend, as well as Simon Miller defending his Proteus championship in a doghouse fun match where anything was a weapon so long as it came from a pet store. And we also had an incredible tag team match as the main event, which was fantastic. It was so much good. Then, of course, Friday, you can catch the TNA review squad as we review TNA, as we are inching ever so closer to TNA's next pay-per-view, Rebellion, which I get to go to in April. I'm so excited. It's going to be a good time. But I and JBL need to go because we got other things we got to do.
I'm going to plug one thing that's coming up down the line.
Oh, go for it.
May, because we are confirming we're going to watch the next Mystery Wrestling pay-per-view and review it on here. So that is going to be added to the channel. I'm ecstatic to bring us this with our very fun John Silver on commentary this month.
It's going to be so
beautiful.
Man, I love this that we are adding slowly more promotions to. This year, we've already added Stardom. We're doing more New Japan. Progress is now in rotation. Mystery Wrestling is here. And we are about to continue with GCW because this is about to get nutty. I mean, we're literally doing 3 GCW stuff over the WrestleMania Hell Week. We're watching Bloodsport, we're watching Joey Janela's Spring Break, and we're reviewing Effie's Big Gay Brunch.
Which is wonderful progress there. The only thing we're missing right now in the world right now is Maple Leaf Wrestling,
which we are also covering too right now.
Oh, I know.
I'm so excited. We are covering all borders, you guys. I'm so excited. But that is going to be it for me and JVL here this evening. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming in the next week. Literally next week until the middle of May, there is going to be something every single day. Oh, the last thing I forgot to plug is that this Saturday, you can catch me and Adolfo watching the MLW pay-per-view live, which is free on YouTube for Battle Riot. Main event is Matt Riddle defending his MLW World Heavyweight Championship in the Battle Riot. Him versus 39 other people. Will Matt Riddle walk out as champion?
I'm going to be watching that on my phone in between patient encounters as I do my standardized patient work this weekend.
Heck yeah. So it's going to be a packed week. I'm so excited. Also, more announcements to come because we will be having people from all over the place be popping in during WrestleMania stuff. You know, Nick, our friend Nick and his wife will be popping in. Some other friends that we are working with as well. Podmania 2025 is going to be crazy. But from myself and JVL, the professor, and the rest of the BC Wrestle Pod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay Bi-Conic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. The AEW crew will be back next.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.